Welcome to Plate Time with Eric Wildman. I'm the executive chef at Wildest Restaurant in Palm Desert, California. Today we're going to make kind of a fun dish. We're going to make a wild mushroom and chorizo stuffed red peppers with mole verde. I used to work years ago where I met my wife in Tucson, Arizona at a place called Cafe Terracotta. Cafe Terracotta was one of the top 5 southwestern restaurants in the United States at that time. I was the chef there. So kind of a little bit of my inspiration comes from there, but also just want to make a nice healthy dinner, plant-based dinner. So as I say, tonight's dinner is going to be the wild mushroom and plant-based chorizo. The plant-based chorizo is a pea protein chorizo, so it goes very well. I bought this one. Pick out the one you like at the store. You can also make one yourself if you'd like. The things you're going to need for today, you're going to need a nice pot to cook the mole verde in, a blender, saute pan. For the mole verde, for those that don't know what a mole verde is, or a mole sauce. A mole sauce is a traditional Mexican Sonoran dish, usually with chocolate and nuts and spices, and then that's all blended. And the nuts and the seeds is what thickens the sauce. So in this case, we're going to use tomatillos, beautiful tomatillos, and pepita seeds. And the pepita seeds are what's going to help thicken the sauce, along with some fresh kale. Sometimes they use romaine. You could use romaine if you want, but I'm going to use kale in this dish. So we're going to start out by making the mole verde. First thing we're going to need a jalapeno, serrano, and my knives. As I think I've told you guys before, many times, I wash all the vegetables first. So all these are pre-washed, all the lettuce has been pre-washed, the cilantro, the kale, all the mushrooms, everything. I'm going to show you how I wash and clean these. I want to do it kind of more to order. Actually, I think I'll start with that. Because a lot of you probably haven't seen tomatillos, or if you have or have not seen a tomatillo. So this is a tomatillo. Looks like a little green tomato, and it comes with these husks on it. So what I like to do is I put the tomatillos in the water. This will make it easier to take the husk off, and it'll also clean them at the same time. Get them nice, so we're dehusking them. So how you take the husk off is just, when it's wet, it's super easy. Just peel it back and it comes right off. And again, this is the same way, it cleans them and takes the husk off. If you try to take the husk off when they're dry, it's pretty difficult. So it's easier just to do it this way. And I said at the same time, it cleans them. I'll need a couple pounds of tomatillos to make this recipe. Got our tomatillos. Let me just chop those up real quick. The ones are right here. Now you don't, again, this is going to be blended, so you don't need to chop it real fine, but you want to chop it, small enough. So what I do is I just quarter them. Smell good. Kind of signs of spring for me. Tomatillos, green tomatoes, corn. Those in there. This is a sauce that I used to make and serve at Terracotta. I served with salmon a lot and with scallops. It gets really good with seafood. Again, but if you roast it, then it's heartier and it's good with meats. They have a kind of a sour apple smell to them and a little sour flavor to them, but not too much. I do have some limes here. The recipe doesn't call for limes, but I might put a little lime juice in it after I make it to see. Usually these are acidic enough, so you don't need to add lime juice to it. We need 1 cup of onion, white onion. I got my white onion here. Trim it down. Again, this is going to be blended, so I'm not really too concerned on the size of the dice. I want it small enough to cook, but not really worry about anything else. We're gonna give this a little dice, and then we're gonna start making. Well, we gotta do our serranos. All right, then we got 1 serrano chili and 1 jalapeno chili, 3 garlic cloves. I think I'll do a whole serrano and a half a jalapeno. I'm sure all of you know that The hot part of a jalapeno are the seeds. The meat itself is not that spicy. So what I always do, if I don't want it too spicy, I'll just take the seeds out and we'll just have just the meat. Same thing with the serrano. The spicy part is the seeds. So we're just going to take those out. And then we're going to chop them up. That looks good. Again, we're just going to cut this in half. Again, we're going to blend it, so I'm not worried about making it real fine or too minute, but I do want it, to cook all the way through. So I'm going to, now we have our olive oil, a couple tablespoons. We'll add this in. And we got our onions, serranos, garlic, jalapenos in the pan. We just want to saute that lightly. We're not trying to get a color to this or brown it. We're just trying to make it opaque and translucent. I actually put the top on it to get it to steam just a little bit. So I think a little steam will be good for this. I'll kind of make it really moist and add a little moisture to this dish. So it's cooking along good. And then we're going to season it. We got the pepita seeds we're going to put in there. We got salt, pepper. We're going to add some cilantro later and kale later. We add those and the chicken stock and the vegetable stock I have right here. We'll add the vegetable stock. There we go. We'll add in our tomatillos. Now we're going to cover that and let that cook for a little bit longer. A little more heat. Now we'll season it. Salt, fresh pepper. We'll add our pepita seeds. If you wanted to, as I explained earlier, if you want to have it more of an earthier, deeper dish, you would toast the pepita seeds. Again, I'm trying to leave this a little more neutral, a little more green, so I'm not going to toast them. But I do have some toasted pepita seeds I'll garnish at the end. Because untoasted, they're a little bitter and a little soft, not really crunchy and good to chew. We're going to add our pepita seeds. Recipe calls for ½ a cup. All right, so this is what it looks like. You got your pepita seeds, tomatillos, peppers, chilies, onions, all ready to go, looking good. I'm going to put this on the stove to cook. 4 cups of vegetable stock. The recipe that I'm making today will make 4 to 6 peppers and sauce. You'll probably have a little extra sauce with it, but a little extra sauce is okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this cook. Let the tomatillos cook, let the onions cook, the jalapenos cook. Then we're going to blend it all. And we're going to blend it with fresh parsley, the kale, and the cilantro. But we want that fresh. We want that blended in right at the end. We don't want that to overcook or be bitter or to take, have any bad flavors to it. So we're just going to start with this. And while this is cooking though, we will make our mushrooms. And now we're going to start the mushrooms here. So we have the mushrooms. We're going to get probably 3 or 4 cloves of garlic, depending on how big the cloves of garlic are. These are kind of small, so I'm going to do 4. And we're going to saute the mushrooms, get a nice little caramelization to them. That's getting there. So we're going to put our olive oil in here. It calls for 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And you're going to think, wow, that's a lot of olive oil. That's too much. It's going to be greasy. Mushrooms love oil. Remember, mushrooms are 90% water, 80 to 90% water, so they really love the oils. So we have 8 ounces of Cremini mushrooms here. We have 8 ounces of Shiitake mushrooms. We'll add our garlic. That looks good. I usually start with the Cremini mushrooms because they're a little denser, a little more firm. Those are going to go in, and then we're going to put the Shiitake mushrooms on that. So the plant, we do have plant chorizo, as I told you about earlier. You can see I've already pre-cooked the plant chorizo. This is a pea protein chorizo. You want to get a nice color to it too, a little nice caramelization, a nice brown to it. Don't have it just opaque and not a lot of flavor. It's not going to work out that good. So don't be afraid to over brown it or to brown it well. All right, this is cooking nicely. I don't like to flip a lot of stuff in the air because if it's not on the burner, it doesn't cook. But at the same time though, we're going to come around here, we're going to check on pot. It's almost up to a boil. So we are going to get our peppers ready. As I said, this recipe calls for, it can make 4 to 6 peppers. And I say that because it depends on the size of your peppers. These peppers are gigantic. Probably a little too big than what I really want. But, it's summertime here in the valley. A lot of times here in the desert, all of our produce is really grown right out here in Coachella from where I'm standing, just directly behind me. Prime Time, Mark is a good friend of mine from Prime Time. He's the president there, and they grow a lot of peppers and jalapenos and corn and melons. Janelle Percy's another good friend of mine. She gave me a big tour of all the agriculture around here. I've been on that tour a couple times of all the agriculture that's right here close to us. This is looking really good. It's getting a nice golden brown. As you can see, all that oil is already gone, right? So I'm actually going to add a little more oil to it. When you do, I just kind of add it around the outside. All right, so as I say, we got our peppers here. We're going to make one of these, or make 2. We'll make 4 orders. I washed them very well earlier before we're here. We're just going to cut the pepper end to end. What I try to do is I try to figure out what sides are going to stand up, because this is going to be a stuffed pepper. As you can tell, this is cooking along really nice. You can see it's getting a nice brown to it, a nice golden brown to the mushrooms. They're looking really good. So when these get about half cooked, the mushrooms, that's when I like to season the mushrooms. I don't like to season them at the end, because then the seasoning is just on the outside of the mushroom, and I don't like to season right at the beginning, because then they sweat too much, and then they don't really caramelize. So we're going to add our salt to the mushrooms, pepper, cumin, pasilla chili ground. You can use any ancho chili powder, pasilla chili powder, whatever you're in the mood for. I like pasilla. Has a nice, deep, rich flavor. And then just a little paprika. Now you can see the nice color on the mushrooms. See how they're looking really good. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit at a medium heat, but that's perfect. You don't want to overcook it. You're not trying to cook it to a complete mush right off the bat. We're going to clean out our pepper. You want to get all the membrane out of the middle, but don't pull this back part out, because the back part is what's going to keep everything in there, okay? And we got our other half. And we're going to take this out. There we go. We got our nice 2 peppers there. Now, what I like to do when I finish this is I just finish this with a little bit of the vegan butter. Again, it just gives a little richness to it. Put that right on the side, right on this side. As you can see, it kind of even makes like a little sauce in there too, which is really good. Okay, now we're going to make our stuffing for our peppers. We'll put that in the pot. So in our little mixing bowl here. We'll turn off our burner so I can put this back on it. Add 1 cup of potatoes. So these are nice russet potatoes. Earlier I blanched them and diced them with a little chili in there. And then we're just going to add 1 cup potatoes to it, and 1 cup of the chorizo. 1 big heaping cup. Don't be bashful. We're going to mix that up. I like to do this when the mushrooms come right off the heat like this too, so it has some moisture to it. Now this has been seasoned, and of course the chorizo is seasoned, but the potatoes are not. So I'm going to add just a little salt to it at this point, but not a lot. You don't want it too salty, but you do want to have flavor to it. Then we got our baking pan here. You can use whatever you want. Use a half sheet tray, jelly roll pan, any pan that you feel in the mood for. I like to do this so it sits in there nice. We're just going to spray it a little bit with a little bit of vegetable spray, just to prevent it from sticking to the bottom. Alright, so now we're going to take our mushrooms and our peppers, and we're going to stuff these. This one definitely, in the last couple recipes or before I've been making, is kind of it could be an entree or an appetizer or a salad or whatever. This is 100% an entree. This would be a very big appetizer. So I got them in there. It's looking really good. My wife bought me these new spoon spatula things, I guess what you call them. They're very...
Spoonula.
Spoonula is what they're called. Spoonula. They work really, really well. They're heat resistant, and you can use them to pack things in really nice like that. See how good that turns out? So if you're out there shopping, I think it was just on. Now we're going to finish our sauce. It says 350 because it's a convection oven, so it's always 25 degrees hotter. Cilantro, I know not a lot, but some people out there don't like cilantro. You don't have to put it in. If you don't want it, you can omit it from this dish very simply. It wouldn't be a problem. The kale, though, is something you're going to have because that's going to give it the body and the thickness to this sauce, along with the pepita seeds. We're going to scoop our sauce in there. The tomatillas are naturally watery, so they are going to suck up a lot of the juice. I might be able to do all this all at once, which would be a really good dish. I better stop there. I don't want it to blow all over the place when I blend it here. This is pretty watery, as you can tell. It's pretty liquidy. We're going to start by adding our parsley and cilantro. We'll start on low. What's happening? Then we're going to add our kale. Just want to give this a quick chop. Again, remember, everything was washed ahead of time. So, as you can tell, I'm getting too much liquid in there, and I can't add the rest of this kale. If I add the rest of this kale, it's going to be too full. All right? So we're going to have to pour a little of this off, start blending again, and then we'll add our kale. You see the nice color it's getting there? At this point, we taste it. See how it tastes, look at the consistency. Need to know if we add more salt, more pepper, or a little lime, or whatever we need to add. That's pretty good. We're gonna add a little more salt, and we're gonna add just a little lime to it, because it is just a little, not quite, it's a little flat, kind of linear. And what happens when you add acid, acid will help brighten the flavors that are in your sauce, kind of pick things up. So we're going to add just a little bit of lime juice to this. We'll quarter these, that way we can serve that with the dish. Got my lime squeezer here. Usually it's for margaritas, but I guess in this case I can use it for this. Start on low again, don't start on high. There we go. New spoon, don't get the same spoon. You don't want to be double dipping, all right? Get a clean spoon. Oh, there you go. That just brightened everything up. Picked it all up, ready to go now. I don't even need to strain it. Sometimes you want to strain it. I think in this case right here, I'm not even going to strain it. It looks so good. So we're just going to plate it. We got our sauce. Down right in the middle. Oh, that looks really good, huh? See the nice color of that, the vibrant green. This again, it's a mole, and a moles are supposed to be a little coarse, okay, and a little thick. They're not supposed to be thin or watery or anything like that. So, through the magic of Facebook and everything else, I got some peppers that I put in the oven earlier, and they're ready to go, so we're going to have those. But don't feel bad. The other peppers we'll have for dinner later, so it'll work out fine. So here we go. Look at this beautiful pepper that we have roasted off earlier. Filled with the goodness of the mushrooms and the chorizo. We're going to serve a little lime with it. We got our toasted pepitas we'll put on there. A little more crunch to it. I got these beautiful heirloom cherry tomatoes at the store, which I really like. And what I'm going to do for this, because I thought it'd be kind of funny, is I'll just pull out the green ones, and we'll use those for a little garnish. We'll just slice those. Put these around the plate. And a little radish. When you're doing your plating at home, which some of you may or may not know, when you put stuff on the plate, odd numbers look better than even numbers. So on this plate, I'm going to put down 5 of the radish and 5 of the green tomato. So here we go. You got our plant chorizo, wild mushroom stuffed red pepper on a mole verde sauce. ready to go for a nice dinner for tonight. Thank you for watching Plate Time. I'm Eric Wadlin, chef partner at Wildest Restaurant in Palm Desert, California. We're open now, Thursday through Sunday, 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock. You can make a reservation online. We also have takeout and delivery. So whatever you like. You want to come and eat there, or you want us to deliver it to you, please feel free. Look forward to seeing you. Thank you very much again for joining me at Plate Time. Have a great weekend.